Front of the line.
Um,
Welcome everyone to another episode of Up to Your Ears. I'm Vanessa.
and I'm Josie. Thanks for joining us. And again, I feel like I say this every time. We always have exciting guests, but I'm very excited for this guest. Originally from Australia. Vanessa, who do we have?
We have Mr. Chris Cester. You probably know him from a little band called Jet, but he has lots of other projects going and actually currently working on some stuff with one of our other guests that we had on, Jason Hill.
You know, I'm really interested to find out exactly what they're working on because Jason kept on saying when we interviewed him, yeah, I'm working on this project or I'm doing this with Chris from Jet and Chris from Jet, Chris from Jet. And so now we have Chris from Jet.
We would like to remind all of our faithful watchers to please subscribe. It's just one little click of that red button. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, please do. It's easy. You just that's it. Just like that.
How are you, ladies?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
Thank you for joining us. We love it that you'll want to play our game.
Let's play. This is my smoking patio, I guess. My studio is directly that way. So
awesome.
I like to come out here and listen to mixes with the doors open. You know, it kind of makes me, it reminds me of sort of like a festival, vibe where you're in your dressing room and you can hear just the low frequencies, bass rumbling. And you're like, oh, look, it's, it's the Lars doing, there she goes or whatever, faintly in the distance. So I like to sort of mix that way. Actually, that's something Jason taught me. So what's the idea, girls? Like, what do you want to
talk
about?
So we give you we ask you this little questionnaire here that we have called Truth or Protect Your Rep. So you can tell us the truth or you can lie and be whoever you want.
Okay.
Are you up for it?
Well, fire away.
Okay. Our first question for you. Anything in Australia that you wish that you had here in the States?
Funny you should ask, because I just reconnected with my cousin last night, who's also named Chris Cester. And it's funny, last time I saw him out here in LA, he was like, I hadn't seen him for years, and he was like, fuck you. Every time I try and Google myself, it only comes up with you. And it's really annoying. And, he's older than me.
You're all pissed off. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, he's a lovely chap. And we just reconnected last night. In fact, I thought he was my tour manager because their initials are the same on my phone. So I was, I thought I was in the mode of talking to my tour manager, potty mouth, just like all our stupid jokes. And I was like, oh, shit, this is my cousin. But anyway, we got onto that topic and, about food. I grew up in a pretty food orientated sort of environment. My father's side of the family are Italian and my mother's side is Scottish. So, when mom was cooking, it was basically mince and rice and peas. And when my dad would cook, he would go nuts, and he was actually a really talented chef. And so anyway, the other Chris Cester, I call him Evil Chris. Anyway,
I'm sure he really appreciates.
Long answer to your question, but I really miss the food. I miss the restaurants in Melbourne, I think. And it's not really biased because I've been all over, and I think I really believe that the quality and the variety is unbeatable in Melbourne. So I really miss the food. Obviously, family, of course, but I miss the restaurants and yeah.
you know, that's something actually that Josie and I were talking about prior to you jumping on the call was, because we always like to ask a food question. And I said, well, I'm not sure how to pose it, you know, maybe to ask what, you know, his favorite local restaurant haunt was or whatever I said, or maybe his favorite chip shop. And I said, oh, but I don't want to assume that he eats meat. And then I thought, no, if he's from Australia, chances are he eats meat. So when you say mince, that's like whatever type of meat that's going to be in the dish, correct?
Oh, it's sorry, there's fucking non-stop Harleys all the time up this street. It's really annoying. I hate motorbikes. I fucking hate them.
I feel the same way about gas power mowers, or like the blower things. Like, get a broom.
Yeah, but at least they're gone in 10 minutes. Like these Harleys, and you know the worst thing is when you get those dudes who have those motorbikes who have the speakers that face outwards.
The worst.
Yeah, but yeah, there he is. Yeah, I miss the food there, and you know I miss the football as well. I'm a big football fan, but Australian football. So it's something that I grew up with and that I really love, and I have a lot of really fond memories of going to the football with my father, and so I miss that. Miss the football.
Oh, that's fun. What's your team? Who's your team?
They're called Collingwood Magpies.
Magpies. All right. I have a question for you, Chris. What was the first show that you ever remember going to on purpose as, like, you know, young adult or kid?
As young as yeah, I remember. The first concert that I bought a ticket to was for an Australian band called UMI. And they were quite big in Australia. And especially at that time, I think they had a multi-platinum record. And, you know,
wow.
I was 15 years old and I had gotten a ticket. And, man, I was looking forward to it for weeks and weeks. And it was at a place, I think, called the Hi-Fi Bar, which is about a 2,000 cap venue. And I was in a band at the time. Like, I was 15, but I was in a band at the time called...
Let's have it.
It was called Mandrake.
What, Mandrake?
Yeah, like the wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in this band Mandrake, and we weren't bad, you know. Like
that's awesome.
We sounded kind of like we had a bit of a Nirvana vibe going on. I suppose that was the thing at the time. Anyway, I had a cassette demo tape that we had made, and I brought it to the show. And in my head all day, I thought, I'm gonna get this tape on stage to Tim, who's the singer. He's, you know, he if you ask any Australian rock and roller, like, you know, about their influences, most likely I would say 90% of them would say that Tim Rogers and UMI figures in their background, because they were the first Australian sort of rock and roll band to like to do it. And it sort of gave us all the confidence to go, oh shit, you can actually do this for a living. And so in that way, they were really influential to a lot of people. Anyway, I went down there with my tape, and I hustled my way down to the front to get close to the stage. And then I saw, funnily enough, the drummer who I replaced in Jet was there. And, you know, we were friends, and he was like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, I was like, I'm trying to get close to the stage so I can put my demo tape on there. And and Luke grabbed it out of my hand and just threw it at the stage.
Like, I don't know about projectiles.
It hit the fucking microphone. The whole place squealed. And Tim, who had just walked on stage, picked up the tape, looked at it, and then booted it off stage.
You're like, worst memory ever.
Yeah, but you know what? It was really upsetting.
And you're like this. Wait.
Yeah. But it's my only one.
really, it was
That's
traumatic. It was traumatic, but it was but
is
it was
traumatic.
short-lived because they, you know, they came on and they played an amazing show, and that was my first show that I, you know, paid money to go see, and they were in good form. They always are. They're a great band, and yeah, so an incredible memory tinged with a little bit of I don't know,
Heartbreak.
heartbreak.
Best / worst moment ever, all in one, like all within like 30 seconds. It's
Say
like,
that-
yes, it got
Oh,
to the
yeah.
stage. There it goes. See ya.
Yeah, yeah. Well, nothing became of that tape. Maybe it was a good thing. So there you go. That's my
Oh my God.
that's my first memory. But I have to say, I have to put this in here because I think it's even better. My father took me to my first concert, and I didn't choose it, and it was Andrea Bocelli. You know,
but
fine opera singer, and so I went.
Wow.
I went there with him. It was for my father got the ticket for his father, Hercule, to go and see an opera singer, and it was kind of funny because you know, I don't speak Italian, well, a little bit, but anyway, Hercule, after about 20 minutes, got really frustrated and like walked out of the arena. And I was like, I said to Dad, "What's going on? Why the fuck is he leaving?" And he goes, he's like, "Well, he just said, you know, in Italian, he just said, this guy's shit. He doesn't sing with any soul, and I can't watch this. I can't do it." And he walked out.
Yeah, you guys are opinionated, you Cesters.
Yeah.
He had a yeah, for sure, of course. Who isn't? Who isn't? Some people just have the balls to say what they want, and you know, and everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah.
But I've never had that problem.
I don't have that problem. I'm like, oh, you didn't like that? Sad for you.
Sorry about that.
But now that you're in LA and you've been in LA, phone at the table, yes or no?
Yes. Oh, you mean at the dinner table when it's time to eat?
Yes.
Well, no, phone off the table. We generally all set them down unless there's something important happening. But no, generally speaking, there are no phones at the dinner table.
What's the strangest thing a fan has ever said to you?
Fuck.
So where do I start?
I know.
Well,
you know, and sometimes in some of these interviews, I've said or given to you, because you know how oftentimes fans will give you something as a gift.
You know what?
What?
I've got to tell you. It happened recently, and I'm going to read it to you. It's
okay.
Okay, let's see if we can find it here.
I thought those texts were just between me and you. What the hell?
I can't find it, but a dude texted me or DM'd me about a month ago, and he goes, "Hey Chris," I don't know him. He goes, "Hey Chris, what's up? Are you circ or no circ? As in, do you have a foreskin?"
Right. You're like, in the future, what do you, this is a new question. In the future, what role do you see robots playing in your life?
That's an interesting question. I suppose that would sort of depend on how you define robots, because I feel robot culture creeping in whenever I look at my phone, and when I, you know, for example, I'll look at a story about a rapper or a football player or something, and then I'll notice for the next 10 minutes that's the only thing in my feed, and it freaks me out. To me, that's kind of robot culture. That's like, you know, it's very invasive. And but you mean physical robots walking around?
It could be anything you want. That's why I
Well,
asked it the way I did.
I think it's scarier than a physical presence. I think it's more subverted than that. And I think that robots and artificial intelligence are already infiltrating the things that we do every day. It's just not become to a point yet where we're disgusted by it enough to say anything. And in fact, a lot of the times I think a lot of us think it's helpful because, oh shit, I didn't know about that band that you connected me randomly through the fucking cosmos of phone technology and that sort of thing. And but I'll tell you what, hold on, Harley. Yeah, but it worries me because I have a 10-year-old and she plays a game called Roblox, and it's a similar thing but for a kid. You know, they they know what they look at and they know what they like, and so they prey on that. By them, I mean, you know, companies who are trying to sell them things and stuff like that. And yeah, it really bothers me. It bothers me because she'll come in and tell me all about a show that she's watching. I'll be like, I'll watch 5 minutes of it and be like, that's not really appropriate for you. But how did you find out about it? And she's like, oh, my phone told me. And so that's my answer. I feel like it's already, robots are already sort of there. They're just they just came in a form that we didn't expect. They don't look like 1950s robots. They look like iPhones and they look like TVs.
Well, Chris, I guess our question to you is, what have you been working on? What do you have coming out in the future? Are you collaborating with people? Are you starting a new project? You did mention earlier in the interview that your studio is there. So pray tell, what's going on?
Okay, well, yeah, I worked quite a bit with Jason in the last few weeks, and I suppose that's sort of tapered off. Jason and I have a really interesting relationship. Really well. We've always gotten along really well, Jason and I. I think we have a very, very specific idea about creativity, which is really hard to find. And I think it's important to say this because a lot of people don't. Yeah, I can say this now that I'm almost 40, but I think a lot of people in creative situations don't have the heart to say how they feel about what's going on a record. And Jason and I argue like we're fucking brothers. It's crazy. I don't know how this happened or why, but for some reason we have a mutual respect for each other where when I go over there to make a record and I say, that's shit. No, that's a bad idea. And he's like, well, what's your fucking idea? And then I'll show him and he'll be like, fuck, you're right. That is it. That's better. That's better. And you know, I don't really have, there's no one else really that I create music with that's like that. And so I really enjoy working with Jason. So lately we were working on a series of songs, I suppose, that were inspired by personal events in his own life. But I was more than happy to reconnect with him because I hadn't seen him in such a long time. And I always love working with him and we always get really good results. And there's some great songs there. I don't know what the plan is for them, but sometimes, you know, especially these days with the COVID thing, you just go and work where you know you're going to get a result and something good is going to come from it. Mainly what I've been doing is I have had a band for quite a few years now called Mystic Knights of Amnesia, which Noel Gallagher gave us the name actually, and Jason produced it, and we made a 4-song EP, and I think that it's going to be released really soon. It kind of lives out of time a little bit. It's a very weird record and it was made in a very weird time, and it was made mostly between the hours of 3 and 7 a.m. And but somehow we kept it together and it didn't get loose and Stupid. It's a really good record. It's an EP, and so that'll be coming out. You know, we've got a lot of songs, you know, coming down the pipe. There's, you know, I would say probably between 20 and 30 songs, and I have been under pressure from my good friend Louis to, you know, let's get it out and let's just put it out and blah blah. But I'm really precious about it, and I really believe in it, and I think that people are going to really like it, and so I don't feel like rushing. And so aside from that, yeah, that takes up most of my time. But aside from that, I feel like right now it's an interesting time because guys like Jason and I, and you know, my associates, I guess, you know, Sean Payne comes to mind from the Zootones, and trips out to Nashville to do some songwriting sessions with country writers, which has been really interesting for me because not the I'm a fly screen door slamming son of a bitch, not that sort of stuff. Like you know, the country that we like, and you know, I'm a songwriter, and I spend all my time writing songs. I can't get out of the studio. Sometimes, you know, my girlfriend gets really annoyed at me because, not annoyed, but like, I think it's hard to live with somebody who is just constantly writing because they're like, well, what about me? And it's a selfish job, you know.
Mm.
You
Well, and it's also like,
I
I
don't know
feel
that
like,
it's selfish. I mean, you put yourself out there for anyone to hear once it's done. I think that's very generous.
Well, I appreciate that's it's a really positive way to
way
look
to
at it.
look at it. Yeah.
I suppose it's just different when you know, you have a family in your house, and and they don't understand, or you know, they can't comprehend why you wouldn't want to be out of that fucking room.
Well, I was just gonna say that I know for me, I'm sure it's like this for you. If you're recording or working on stuff, writing things, you're in the studio, you finally settle in, and you look at your clock, and you're like, "Fuck, 6 hours have passed." It feels like 10 minutes.
It's unreal.
And the whole day is gone, and you're just
It's
like,
so
"Oh
true.
my God."
Jace, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's you get hyper focused on an idea for 3 hours, and it feels like 20 minutes, and you're like, fuck, it's 9 o'clock. Jesus.
Yeah.
Everybody's hungry. I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
The time disappears. But you know what? If the time's disappearing like that, you're probably doing something right. You know, like,
Yeah.
but it's dedication to doing something creatively good.
Yeah.
And that go all in when you make any record, whether it's a demo or a real record or anything. And that's one thing I share in common with Jason, and why we get along so well is we both have the same philosophy about that. It's like, you don't just turn up, you like turn up to get a result, and you know, make a record and finish something.
Well, it's been so awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for
it.
taking time out of your day to chat with us. And I can't wait to hear the Mystic Knights of Amnesia. And thank you so much, Chris. It was good talking to you.
Yes,
talking to you.
wonderful. Thank you for taking time with us today.
You're welcome.
How fun was that? That was really awesome. I can't wait to hear Mystic Knights of Amnesia.
Yeah.
He said it sounds like the Bee Gees, but I wonder like which incarnation of the
Well, he said
Bee
it was
Gees
going down that road. So maybe
yeah. Because, you know, it just depends. Is it like the garagey early like 60s Bee Gees, or is it like disco Bee Gees?
What a wild ride with Mr. Chris Cester. How fun it was to speak with him. Such a genuine and authentic person. Really looking forward to hearing some of his music. And we will provide tons of links and other information in the description of this video. Please make sure you subscribe so that you can get more of these fun videos.
And thank you guys all so much for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like Vanessa said, please subscribe. And so we can bring you more of these videos and you can get to know your favorite artists just a little bit better.
This has been Up to Your Ears. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Josie.
And it sounds good.
Yes, it does.